What's up YouTube? My name is Nathan and I am back with another book review. This time I will be reviewing The House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. As you can see, it has three awards. It's got a National Book Award winner, Newbery Honor, and the Michael Prince Award for Excellence in Young Adult Literature Award. So, pretty prestigious book by the looks of things. It's published in 2002 by Nancy Farmer, so it's not technically a classic yet or anything like that. So I've had this book for a while. Just been trying to do some cleaning in my collection to make room for some more books. Not that I'd throw it away, but I like to read most of my books before I buy new ones. So that's what I was doing here. And like I said, I picked it up a while back, and I decided to read it because I just finished Mockingjay, which I have the review posted already. So hit up my channel if you want to see that. But it's sort of a similar concept, but not really. It is a. Let me try and explain it. So there's the United States, Mexico, and then there's this strip in between called Opium, and it's just this strip of poppy fields, and that's where most of the book takes place. And it's about this book. Wow, it's about this kid named Mateo Alarcon, and he's a clone. There's this guy named El Patron who's this drug lord and bad guy, and basically what he does is he's got a ton of money, and it's in the future, like they have hover cars and stuff in the book. And what he does is he'll clone himself, and then whenever he gets old and his body functions, start to deteriorate, he'll use the clone to replace various body parts, liver, kidneys, brain implants, whatever. So basically that's his purpose. And the book is mainly just about how Matt struggles with that reality, and how he tries to overcome that. He's treated very differently because clones, he was born, like his embryo was harvested inside of a cow, and so technically that makes him an animal because he wasn't born from a human, according to Mexico and the strip of poppy fields, the whatever law they have there. So he's technically an animal, and people think they treat him like that. And there's this girl named Maria, who he's friends with, and she treats him differently. And El Patron, the guy who he's a clone of, treats him nicely as well. But other than that, everyone's pretty much a jerk, and it's kind of annoying because, it's just throughout the pages he's just being referred to as an animal, and it didn't ruin the book for me. It got pretty old, because it was just a bunch of self-loathing about, oh, I'm not a human being, I'm worthless, and then he goes and finds some silver lining to it. So it's not a deal breaker, but it gets a bit old because the book's 400 pages, and there are probably about, if you just read sentences about him being called an animal and him thinking about it, there are probably about 35 pages of just dialogue thinking about him being an animal. So it's not. It gets old. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Overall, the plot, it was okay. It's pretty predictable. This is definitely targeted towards a bit of a younger audience. I'm thinking around middle school probably is when I would have most enjoyed this book. So there are some things that if you have kids or little sister or brother or whatever, if you go hand this book to a third grader, they're not going to understand it. But if you're a senior in high school like me, it's going to be you're definitely going to be I don't want to say more mature than the book, but it's there. You're going to get everything, and you're going to be wanting more levels, I guess is what I mean to say. It's a bit shallow. Now there are some things that underlie the plot and the overall concept of the book, but they aren't hard to find. When I read a book, I really like to think about it and search within the book for hidden themes and things like that. I guess it's because I'm an English buff, but I like to find greater meaning in things, and in this book, the greater meaning is already explained in the end. So there wasn't a whole lot of surprise in this book. The plot's really predictable. There are a few twists and turns, but overall, I mean, you pretty much expect everything before it happens. It took about 250 pages, no, about 300 pages, for someone to explain to Matt that he was there just for El Patron to use him for, you know, his his body parts, his internal organs, and I figured that out before I even opened the book. So that was one of the big twists to the book. Um, I guess I should say most clones, they have their brains destroyed um, when in this book most clones have their brains destroyed from birth, so that they can't think or do anything. El Patron, since he's so wealthy and powerful, he doesn't do that to Matt. So, but it's still one of those things that if you're, I don't know, 14 and up, you'll see it coming right away. So, in this book, definitely, it's not a children's book, but I wouldn't say it's young adult literature. It's probably in between. So overall, House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. It's a good book. It's not a great book, but it's a good book. If you're bored during a weekend or something, and you can't figure out what to read, you aren't in the mood to read anything, I definitely recommend it. Out of 10, I'm probably gonna give this book about a 7. It is above average, but it didn't wow me. Honestly, I kind of read the last 200 pages in a hurry just so that I could. I mean, I read them for content and everything, but I definitely read the end of this book so that I could move on to another. So it's not going to be a book that blows your mind, but there are very, very good parts of this book that you'll enjoy. But with that, there's also the predictable parts that you really won't enjoy that much. So, anyway, this is my second review, and hopefully more to come. I'm going to try and do about one a week. That'll give me enough time to read a book and get a review up in the middle of school and work and all that stuff. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and rate, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and hopefully I'll have another video up by next Friday. Adios, Internet.